What's up, world, and welcome to the 7th episode of the Take One podcast. I am Chris, and I'd like to thank you for joining me. And this episode, I got a few topics that I'm going to be talking about. I don't know how long this is going to run, but I have a feeling it's going to be kind of a short show. But I'm talking about Darth Vader being in Rogue One, which we all kind of knew. If you are a fan of Star Wars, you already knew it. And then I'm talking about Power Rangers news. I'm talking about Pixar news. I'm talking about Ouija 2 trailer and, a plethora of other stuff. So let me get right into it. And I'm going to be talking about Darth Vader, the title thing for the episode. Darth Vader being confirmed for Rogue One, a Star Wars story. And just to put it out there, for anybody who's not a fan of Star Wars and don't know how things are going right now. Okay, so I'm just about to explain it real quick before I actually get into my thoughts about Darth Vader being confirmed for the movie. So, last year we had episode 7, which was a long-awaited episode of the Star Wars franchise, or movie franchise, or whatever. And every year we're going to basically get a new Star Wars film. And Rogue One isn't a part, it's connected to the episodes, but it's not an episode. The main Star Wars movies are the episodes. So if it's Star Wars episode 20,000, that's a main Star Wars movie. So episode 7, 8, and 9 are the main movies. In between those, each year, we're going to have a anthology film. Just a film that's kind of like a spin-off of a Star Wars. It's basically connecting to the main Star Wars, but some of them kind of like it doesn't closely connect, or just that story in itself doesn't closely connect, or it might connect, but it's not like it's not like a really main story like an episode. So Rogue One is just, it happens, these are events that happen in between episode 3 and episode 4. And it's basically just them acquiring the plans to the Death Star so they can destroy it and blah blah blah. If you go watch the Star Wars movies, it'll all make sense. But Rogue One is an anthology film. It's not a main Star Wars film. It's actually a prequel of sorts. And this movie, it takes place during the era of when Darth Vader was still alive. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen any Star Wars movie, but hell, if you haven't seen it by now, whatever. But yeah, so in the original movies, Darth Vader dies. He's dead. He's long gone. But this is a prequel during the time that he's alive. And the Death Star, he is basically a part of that. He is, he stays on the Death Star. He works on the Death Star. He's in charge of things. And these are like the rebellions that are trying to get the plans to the Death Star. So him being confirmed for the movie, it's a no-brainer. I mean, everyone knew. I knew. I mean, it was like, I ain't even want to say rumored, but it was basically like, oh, he's going to be in the movie. It just wasn't confirmed, by Lucasfilm and Disney that he was going to be in there or whatnot. But, I mean, how can you have a movie that has to deal with the Death Star, which was around when Darth Vader was around, and not have Darth Vader in the movie? I don't know how big of a role he's going to have. More than likely, he's going to have a major role because he's a very big character in the Star Wars movie franchise. And it's like a lot of people are looking forward to it. So to have him in a small cameo, I think it's going to whet people's appetites, but it's not going to be in a good way. It's going to be like teasing you, holding like a steak over, a hungry dog and teasing them. You're going to be mad. So I guarantee, I ain't going to say I guarantee, but I hope he's in a bigger role than what, we would expect. We haven't seen too much of, what they have in store for Rogue One. I mean, they had this teaser trailer, which wasn't really a teaser trailer. It seemed more like a regular trailer. And it was actually badass. It got me wanting to see this movie. It looks like it's shot beautifully. And I don't know if he was shown in there, but it just wasn't actually clarified, because there's a scene where there's a dark figure in a room with another figure, but you don't see the dark figure and who he is or whatever. So it's like, that could be Darth Vader, it could be someone else, but we don't know. But I just hope that he is in a big, and he's in a big way in this movie. I hope that they have him in more than just a few scenes. I hope that he has a big role in this. Even if he has even if he isn't just half the movie, I think people would be satisfied. But I mean, as him being confirmed, just like, they should have just said it from the beginning. Like, we already knew that he was going to be in this movie. So for them coming out and saying it in like I think it was like Empire magazine, it was like, okay, yeah, well, this is something that we already knew. You guys are just confirming it. So yeah, whatever. But I mean, it's big news though. Even though we all knew it, it's still big news. So now it's officially confirmed. It's officially confirmed that he's in there. So now we have something to look forward to. And I think that kind of boosts the movie up, because if people wasn't looking forward to this movie, now they are, because now it's Darth Vader is going to be in there. So it's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go watch this, because you have huge fans of Darth Vader. Huge fans. And this is a great way of advertising this movie, of just saying that, like, yo, yeah, this is a Rogue One's anthology film, but now, yeah, Darth Vader is in this movie. So come on and see our movie so we can make more money. But so with that said, moving on to the next topic. Next topic is Power Ranger news. And Bryan Cranston of not Walking Dead. Wow. It's the same network, but it's totally different show. Breaking Bad fame. That's what I'm saying. Bryan Cranston of Breaking Bad fame and Malcolm in the Middle. I can't talk tonight for some reason. But yeah, he's confirmed to be in the new Power Rangers movie that's set to be released next year, at the first quarter of next year. I believe it's either January or February. It's one of those 2 months. And he's playing the role of none other than Zordon. Now, with me, I don't know how to take this. I mean, I've just heard recently that he did lend his voice in the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers show, which was kind of like a shock to me, because I'm like, he did? Like, I haven't looked it up to see when, or who he lended his voice to, but I mean, I guess you could say that's kind of exciting to know that, he did work for, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series, a beloved show of people that's my generation and a little bit younger than me, and just grew up with the show. It's like, just to know that this movie is being brought to the big screen, and just know that you have an original, I guess you could say an original of sorts, being brought back to the Power Rangers franchise in the new reboot of the movie. And I guess, it's kind of exciting to him, because, it's like a homecoming. But I don't really know how to, take it. I guess I could see him as Zordon, but I don't know. It's not really too much that's been given out about this movie, as far as, scenes and, just the overall look. Because we've seen the Power Ranger suits. We've seen set photos of how it looks. We've seen the new poster of it, and I did it in my other podcast, and I said that I liked it. And I said that I liked it. But as far as seeing him as Zordon, I guess I would have to see the trailer and how he looks, and from then on see the movie and see how it works out, because I cannot see it. I literally cannot see it. And that's not saying that it's going to be bad, like I don't like it. It's just I can't see it. I need to actually see it in the trailer and hear him speak as Zordon, just so that I can get a taste of what he has to offer. And if it sounds good in the trailer, and then it's perceived well in the movie, then it'll be decent, and I'll be accepting of it. But I mean, I have no problems with it. It's just I want to see how it is. So, I mean, him being cast as that's something actually I didn't really think that he'd be down to do. I mean, because even though he has, like I said, lent his voice and done work for the original Power Rangers series, it's like he's gotten bigger now within recent years. Like from Breaking Bad, I mean, he was big in Malcolm in the Middle, but it took Breaking Bad to, no pun intended, to break him out. Now it's like he's a household name. People know who Bryan Cranston is, and so. And like a lot of times, them bigger stars, once they get big to a point, they don't like to revisit certain stuff. And Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, as much as I love it, being nostalgic, and that was my favorite show growing up. My brothers and sisters, they can contest to that. It's like, it's very cheesy. It's oh my god, like I watched it lately. I said with like a few months ago, and I'm like, what the hell? It's one of those shows that you just like, oh, how did I even like this? But I mean, it's one of them shows that it was kind of revolutionary for what it did when it came out. But I mean, I'm getting off a topic, but it seems like I wouldn't expect him to go back to the property, but it's not like he's going back to the show. He's going back to a reboot of the I guess you could say the first series in a movie form. So I guess it's, I was just surprised to hear that he was in there, especially as big as he's become now. So, I mean, like I said, I'm waiting to see where he's going to go from here on. And, yeah. So, moving on to the next subject. The next subject is a trailer review. And the trailer that I'm reviewing right now is actually a sequel to a movie that I did not like. And it's one of those shit horror films that I talked about in one of my reviews. The Conjuring 2. It's Ouija 2. Let's see, it's just, oh my gosh. I seen the trailer. I'm thinking like, okay, maybe, the trailer probably grabbed me. Maybe they're doing something different and they're, just, I ain't gonna say learn from their mistakes because the movie made money. Well, at least enough money to garner a second film, which we got now. And, yeah, I seen the trailer. I was not impressed at all. I'm looking at the trailer and I'm like, why? And there's the movies like this is a true testament that just shows people that it's not art or it's not craft that pushes a movie that gets a movie made. That's just the fundamental part of a movie. Not, at least not all the time. That a lot of times the stuff that kind of like pushes a movie and has a movie being made is money. And Ouija is a testament to that. Like, the first movie was not good. It was just not good at all. But it made enough money to get the company, I don't know what company, I believe is Blumhouse, or I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. But I don't think anybody cares. But it's like, it made enough money for the company to be like, oh, well, we can make a second one. Because people, even though it's crap, people are going to go see this. And it just kind of sucks that we have to, live in an age where, we get shit movies like that. Where we get movies made for less money with less quality as far as the story, characters, and all that stuff, and actually something put into it to where we can get something out of it and want to go see it over and over again. Tell our friends, tell our family, tell our coworkers, go see this movie. This movie is good, but we have to be subjected to these crap movies. That's really, there's no point of these movies getting made other than to generate money. And it's just painstaking. Like, ugh. But getting back to the trailer, like I said, was unimpressive. It's not gonna get me into the theater. It seems like just from the trailer, it has all the scary movie tropes. It seems like it may have some creepy scenes, it may have some scary scenes, but overall, it looked like it's going to be a bad movie. Now, given, I probably might be surprised if I end up seeing it. It probably might not be in theaters. Guarantee you, it's not going to be in theaters. If I see this movie and it actually be good, I probably will be surprised, that it's at least decent or better than the first one. And I think what this movie has to just do is just be better than the first one. And if it's better than the first one, I guess it'll be okay, because the first one was just horrible, just bad. Like, oh my gosh. And just, yeah, I want to see the second and third trailer. See if that get me at least curious to see this movie. Because this trailer just did not do the job. This trailer was just god awful. And they should just stop. They should just not even make any more movies. Hopefully this movie doesn't make any more money. That garners a third one. And hopefully it doesn't. That way we won't have to sit through another crappy Ouija movie. But yeah. Wolf. That took a lot out of me. But like I said, so moving on past that shit. Pixar. Well, Disney put out a list of the upcoming Pixar movies that are coming out within the next few years, which some of them we're gonna have to wait, but some of them is coming out fairly close. So it's four of them that it's four of them that was released. The first one is Cars 3, which, just to be truthful, with you coming to these Pixar movies, I'm really it's kind of like comedies to me. That I'm an action, sometimes drama, but more of an action guy or horror guy or something like that. Those are the movies that get me to the theater. I'm not a big fan of romance. I'm not a big fan of comedies or animated films, but if it looks interesting enough, I will go see it. Comedies, Central Intelligence looked interesting enough for me to want to go see. And it's mainly due to just have The Rock up in there. I'm not a huge fan of The Rock, but I am a fan of The Rock as being in the movies and stuff. And and it seemed like it could like balance well as the movie This Is the End. That was a movie where I was like, I seen the trailer and I'm like, oh my god, this seemed like it's gonna be good. And like these animated films, Pixar, whatever, or whatever it comes from, DreamWorks, it has to have an appeal to me. I mean, of course, these movies appeal, I guess you can say, technically to everybody, but they look like they're supposed to appeal to kids. But a lot of these films, like, adults can get, like, enjoyment out of it. Like, a lot of people enjoyed Inside Out and what they did with that. And it's no shame. Like, a lot of grown folks like these movies, and they adore these movies. But when it comes to Pixar movies, it's whatever. So Cars 3 is coming out June 16th of 2017, which is next year, recently. So I've seen the first Cars movie. I liked it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. The second one, I think I would have to rewatch it. I've seen it, but I really didn't pay too much attention to it. So there's a lot of scenes that I missed. But I'm going to have to rewatch it again. But from what I saw, it was okay. So, I mean, it wasn't nothing spectacular to make me want to, run out and go see this third one. Made me just so anxious. Like, oh my God, this is one of my top 5 most anticipated films of 2017. Like, it's just whatever. If my son wants to go see it, I'll take him to go see it. That will be the only reason I will go to the theater to go see this. And, yeah. And so the next film is called Coco. And this is a film, unlike the other, this is actually the one out of the 4 films that I'm mentioning, out of the upcoming Pixar movies within the next few years, that is like an original, because all the rest of them are sequels. And this one revolves around the Day of the Dead, and it's Pixar animation. Like I said, of course, I ain't even need to say that, but yeah, I mean, and it's just supposed to revolve around the Day of the Dead, and whatever, and it seemed kind of decent. Like, I don't know, I would have to see the trailer for it to see if it's actually going to be a good film, or if it looks decent enough for me to want to go see it, or at the most take my son to go see it. But I mean, hopefully it's one of those good movies. Pixar hasn't really had a bad movie. I mean, it's movies that people did not like, or whatever, but at the same time they never had a movie that just did horribly. It's movies that didn't do as good as before as like other movies, but Pixar has been on the road. Disney is like a giant taking over, so yeah, they know what they're doing. So I trust that this movie is going to be at least decent, if not one of the best Pixar movies around. And so yeah, that movie drops November 22nd, 2017. So that movie is also dropping next year. So those are at least two movies next year that are worth taking the children to go see. And the next movie is Toy Story 4, which a lot of people didn't expect that was going to be made, because the way the third one ended off was just basically, it ended off in a wrap. It was like, I mean, the story can continue, but just for all movie purposes, as well as, a lot of times movies, they might have just 3 and then that's it, So it wrapped up like that was the end. But, I guess some people here wrote a script, showed the execs at Pixar and Disney or whatever, and they liked it enough to where it was like they needed this to be made. So, I mean, I guess like you can carry forth the movie. I mean, you can have the same actors. I mean, more than likely Tom Hanks and Tim Allen is going to come back, as well as like a lot of the other original actors, but I don't know exactly if this is going to play as the other movies, because like you have like the human toy interaction, and just from the synopsis and just the details given out about this movie, it seems like it's going to be more orientated around the toys. That it seemed like it's not really going to have anything to do with what's the girl name? The girl that got, Woody and all of them now. It don't seem like she's going to have too much. Even though, the other movies didn't really have Andy in there too much. So I guess it's going to follow some of the same, tropes that the other ones had. But this one is just basically about Bo Peep is missing or something like that. And yeah, Bo Peep is missing. And if you paid attention, she wasn't in the third film. So Bo Peep is missing. Woody and Buzz are on a journey to try and find her. So I don't know how this is gonna play off. It's like the story seemed kind of like, I don't know what to think about it. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. I mean, all the Toy Stories have been good. I wasn't a big fan of Part 3. Like everyone else, just think that that's a masterpiece. I thought it was good, it was good. It's not a movie that I'm about to sit here and like watch over and over and over. It's not one of my favorite films of all time. The original, and I can even say Part 2, is up there. But Part 3, it was okay. But yeah, this one, I don't know. Like I said, it's just like with Power Rangers. I would have to see more about this, more than just people saying this and that and synopsis. I would need to see more about this movie and what they plan to do with just the storyline. It's supposed to be kind of like a romance between Woody and Bo Peep and whatever. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with that, and how they're gonna play it out. And the fourth movie that Toy Story comes out June 15, 2018. So we got a little minute before that movie comes out. So the next movie is The Incredibles 2, which a lot of people have been waiting for, because that was one of Pixar's best films. And I really enjoyed it. That's one of the Pixar films that I did see. I didn't get to see it in theaters, but I saw it when it came out to DVD. And I really enjoy it. Like, that's a movie that I can watch right now. That I can sit down and actually enjoy. And it's like it's been a lot of people been wanting Incredibles 2 because they say it's just kind of like a better version of Fantastic Four, which I can agree. Yeah. But yeah, in this movie, the details, they haven't gave too many details because I guess they're still working on the script and the story and everything else. But it has been said that it takes place 15 years after the first one, so it's not going to be a direct sequel. It's going to take place a little bit after that, and we're going to see the two kids. I believe it's going to be like they're going to be dealing with like family life, getting married and stuff like that. Of course, the parents are older now, so they're probably going to be retired. Jack is going to be in a teenager in high school, so he's going to be dealing with this, and I want to see what his power is, because we got a little taste of it in the first one, but we really didn't. It really wasn't specified what his powers are. It seemed like he has multiple powers, so that seems like that's a story in itself. Because if he had multiple powers, and let's say he doesn't know how to control them at this point, he just does whatever, and then whatever happens, it happens. I think that probably would be pretty decent to kind of like work with, especially dealing with the troubles in high school and just dealing with all that stuff. I believe that should be pretty cool. So I can't wait to see that. And that movie comes out June 21st, 2019. So we have a long way before that movie comes out, but something tells me it's going to be worth the wait. So we just going to have to wait. And moving on to the next topic, this is going to be a wrestling type topic, and it's like I said, this podcast I'm going to be doing a lot of things. It's not just going to be movie news. It's not going to be television show news and just stuff like that and just reviews and all that stuff. I'm going to be talking about wrestling. That's something that I like, that I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about more wrestling until I start up my wrestling podcast, which I hope to do before the next WWE pay-per-view event or after or whatever. But until the end, I'm going to be sliding some wrestling topics in there, and it's not going to be that many. I don't want to bore y'all with that shit. But yeah, the one wrestling topic that I got for this episode is, if you watch WWE, of course you know the name John Cena. Everyone knows who John Cena is. He's the face of the company. And so now there's this new guy. Well, I guess you ain't going to say new. He's new to people who don't watch the product, but he's been there for like years now. His name is Roman Reigns, and he's basically the guy that they're molding to be the new face of WWE. So when John Cena gone, he can be there to take his place or whatever. But over the past year or so, yeah, he's been getting bad reception from the crowd whenever he comes out, because basically just WWE has been pushing him on us, saying that this is the guy you like, this is the guy you're supposed to like, this is the guy you're supposed to like, this is the guy, and just constantly doing that. And it's like, when you force feed people stuff, they tend to not want to eat it, and that's just with Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns is just being this guy who is the guy who was the WWE champion. He's this handsome looking guy. He's like muscular, and he's just this guy that's supposed to just carry the company on his back, for the new school. And he's supposed to be this role model, this good guy, and all that stuff. Or, well, as he says, he's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's the guy. So I guess he's not a good guy. And it's apparent because over a week ago, he was suspended for 30 days because of he violated the WWE wellness policy. Now, it hasn't been put out what he took, or, it's just, for some reason, WWE is keeping that under wraps. And it's like, if it's something minor, why not give it to us? Why not, tell us what it is? And, just let it be that. Because it's like, obviously it must have been something big, for them to take their top guy, and put him on a 30-day suspension because of that. Because, I guess no one is immune to it. If John Cena was caught doing that, they probably would do that. But we don't know. John Cena probably pumped steroids before and they just let it slide because he's John Cena. But, yeah, he's been suspended for 30 days. And it's like, that's kind of crazy because he is the top guy. He's not one of the mid-card. He's not one of the guys that's, just there to wrestle and lose matches and all that stuff. He is a top guy, a guy that they're pushing to the stars and beyond. And he was caught, or, he basically, caught, had taken some stuff. And what was basically put out was that, he had a high level of testosterone. So whatever drug can produce that, whether it's something major or, illegal like steroids or whatever, or just something over the counter that he probably took too much of and he had an elevated amount of testosterone and it just kind of like showed up on their test and then, whatever, they just suspended him for 30 days, like as a warning or some whatever. It's, I don't know, like, they just, I don't know, I feel like it must be bad because they're not saying what it was. And it's like, it kind of looks bad on the company. But what even looks worse was that he is in a triple threat in his upcoming pay-per-view event, which is Battleground. Where, if you watch wrestling, he was a part of a group called The Shield. There's 3 members. Him, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins. And all of them in a triple threat match because they're not with the Shield no more. So it's like a Shield reunion without being a reunion. But all the Shield members are in the same match in a triple threat for the WWE Championship that Dean Ambrose has. And it's like, it kind of mind boggles me that, even like on certain wrestling podcasts and even like I noticed, it's like, why is he still in the triple threat match? Why? They could play in a storyline to where, they take him out the triple threat match because the 30 days are up a few days before the Battleground pay-per-view. So I want to know how they're going to spin that because by then, SmackDown should be on Tuesdays by then. So if it's like, maybe I think it's like 3 days before then, that would be like a Thursday or Friday or whatever. So it's like, how are they going to spin that? How is he going to make any type of appearance? Maybe we're going to do something on the network or something like that, or that he's going to be on NXT or whatever. But how are they going to spin that? Because he has to make some type of appearance before, the Battleground pay-per-view event. Even if it's like the week of that, that Raw or that SmackDown, he has to be there to, make a presence. And it's like, he's not going to be at either show because he's going to be still suspended. So I wonder how they're going to spin that. And then keeping him a part of the triple threat is like, they should just take him out because that's just showing that you can do a bad thing and still be rewarded, and he's in the main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And it just doesn't seem right. And it's like, when I review movies, I kind of look at WWE in that sense because a lot of times, it works the same. There's scripts, there's storylines and all that stuff. What this person is to do this day and this and that and all that stuff. And then a storyline to play out to, a rivalry or whatever. And so if certain stuff don't make sense, then it's like, you would call that a plot hole. If And this one is kind of like a plot hole. Like, why is he still there? Why is he still a part of the triple threat when he did something as bad as that? why would he even be rewarded? He should be taken out of the match. And I feel like after seeing, I haven't finished watching Raw tonight, but I have a feeling that they're going to do that. I have a feeling that they're going to take him out of the triple threat and maybe throw him in SummerSlam match. I think that would probably be better, because then that would be somewhat of a redemption shit or whatever the hell. But yeah, it's just everything is all wrong with this. Yeah, Roman Reigns, I don't know. They need to come out and say what it is, and I'm glad that they've mentioned it on TV and put it a part of the storyline, because for them to go on TV and not even mention it, it wouldn't make no sense at all. It really wouldn't make any sense to be like, oh, you got your top guy who got suspended for violating the wellness policy, and you don't mention it. So I'm glad that they even mentioned it and put it part of the storyline, because you have to, especially since he's in the main event. You can't have two of the three participants in the match talking amongst each other and not even mention him, or the situation with that. I mean, I guess people would think that it's okay because he came out and he apologized. He owned up to it on Twitter, but still in the same sense, it's like WWE kind of need to do something. This guy was he violated y'all policy, and you still gonna keep him in there? Like, I know y'all trying to boost him up, but y'all can do that after and just make it a one-on-one or have someone replace him. Easy, simple as that. And so with that, I am going to go on to the next topic, which the next topic is Deadpool 2 is due to be released next year, or not next year. It's planned to be started next year. They're working on the script. I believe they said the script is almost done. They're still doing the preparations for it and all that stuff, but it begins shooting at the beginning of 2017, and it will drop at the beginning of 2018. So we have a little minute to go. I mean, the movie came out this year, so I mean, you got to give it a little bit of time. And plus, the first movie was like years in the making. Years. So, having to wait that long to get to, the first one, and then having to wait this long to get to the second one, we can wait. We have a plethora of superhero movies from now until then, coming out. So we got an appetite full. We don't need it too bad. Even though, I want to see if they do it as good as the first one. If y'all seen my, review for it, which is like a mini review, I thought it was good. It wasn't as good. I didn't think it was as good as everyone was saying. Everybody was saying like, oh, A+, A+. I'm like, yeah, it was an A-. It was decent. It wasn't a bad movie. It was certain stuff I didn't like about it. But, I mean, so for me, I feel like the second one could probably way better, because the first one dealt with, just kind of like cutting back and forth to, before he's Deadpool, and then now he's Deadpool, before he's Deadpool, and just cutting back and forth. This one can basically focus on him just being Deadpool. So I'm like, that's what I want to see. I want to see Deadpool, because in this first movie, the scenes with when he's actually Deadpool in the full-on suit, those are like the funniest scenes, of that movie. And that's what I want to see more of. I want to see more of Deadpool. So, I mean, with it being shot next year at the beginning of it, they're trying to get this out soon. They said that they want this movie out as soon as possible. Hopefully that they're not trying to rush it. I mean, they are trying to rush it, but not rush it too much to where it kind of like, we need this movie out, and then it ends up bombing. If they, just had a little bit more time to take this out, add this, and, tweak some stuff. So hopefully they not rush, but hopefully, even though they are being rushed, that they take their time with it, that it's not just, thrown out and, whatever. So yeah, Deadpool is being set to drop in early 2018. I don't have a specific date, but yeah, it's gonna be out in 2018. So look out for it. I know I will be. And so on to our last topic of the night. The last topic is something that came out like a week or so ago, whatever. It was just something that was real interesting. I know a lot of people, I got into it late, but I end up liking it. I still need to watch the second season. And what I'm talking about is the show Young Justice. Young Justice is a cartoon that's just basically like the second generation of, the Justice League. And Justice League is still around. It's just sidekicks are put on a team. It's not the Teen Titans or nothing like that. I guess it's something like that because Robin is somewhat the leader of the group or whatever. And it was actually a pretty good show. I loved the first season. I loved it. I still need to finish watching the second season, but the guy who was writing the original show said that it's a high possibility that the third one can be made. And a lot of people, I guess, got the wrong idea of why it got canceled. And I guess I've heard some stuff before that it got canceled because the second one wasn't, received well and this and that. But he came out and said that the real reason why it was canceled was that it was like it was getting funded through something, and the money fell through or something of that nature. I've read it and it's kind of slipping my mind, but it was something of that nature. Like I think the product, the merchandise, the money that they were getting from the merchandise and stuff like that was funding the show, and so something happened with that to where they didn't have the money to fund the show anymore, and so they had to stop making it. They had to cancel it or whatnot. And so now it's a possibility that it might get shopped to Netflix, and Netflix might take it over and end up doing a season 3 of it. And if that's successful, do a season 4 and keep going on with it. I mean, I enjoyed the show, and hopefully they do bring it back for a season 3, and hopefully they can bring it back as soon as possible. Maybe even I say the end of next year, or at least the beginning of 2018. Something of that nature. And it's just, I'm pretty excited. I know my nephew, he loved that show. He's seen both season 1 and season 2, and he's a big fan of DC everything, and he's really excited and hopes that it gets made, as well as me. I hope that they do it, and I hope that they bring new elements to it. Like I said, I need to finish. I need to finish watching season 2. I need to watch that. That way I can get caught up, and that way when season 3 come out, I ain't sitting here trying to get caught up and, in a hurry and then watch season 3 or whatnot. So, man, I can't wait. I hope that they end up grabbing it, whether it be through Netflix or Hulu or Amazon or whoever grabs it, or even Cartoon Network, if they decide to redo it again, whatever. I just hope that they do it and bring it and make it real good, because if they do it, guaranteed I'm gonna be wanting to watch it. So yeah, please bring it back, please. So, and with that said, that concludes what all I have to say for this podcast. And I'd like to thank you guys for listening to this episode 7 of the Take One podcast. And if you like this, go ahead, hit like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. This podcast is exclusively on YouTube as of now. I haven't put it on any other formats, but once I do, guaranteed I will make the announcement here. And I'm going to do episode 8 and I'm going to do episode 9. It's going to be dropping this week, so look out for that. I have been behind on my podcast as well as movie reviews, so I'm catching up on that. So bear with me. Everything out, since it's on YouTube, everything that I'm doing on my YouTube channel, if you haven't checked out my movie reviews or anything of that nature, or the other podcasts, everything is in the description below. So go ahead and click that and check out my movie reviews, mini reviews, all that stuff. I have a top 10 countdown. I'm going to give out more of those. I have other concepts that I'm going to be working on within the next few months, so look out for that. And yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, everything else, yeah, my social media is down there. Everything is in the description. So just go down there and look. You're gonna find everything down there. So yeah, and that concludes this Take One podcast. Tune in to episode 8, which will be dropping shortly after this, and I will catch you guys later. Until next time.